Hi there folks, it's DeniCh. You know, space is one of the most fascinating things you can think of. Just imagine how many planets and galaxies haven't been explored yet. But the opportunity to actually be in space in real life is not for everyone. I would say it is only for a few. However, there are many people who want to experience it, and you know what? You can do it in-game, of course. So, if you are one of those who has ever dreamed to visit outer space, to visit the neighboring galaxies, or even to conquer them, now it's your chance. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Okay, let's get started. Well, put on your spacesuits, strap in, and we are off to SpaceBourne 2. It's a third-person action-adventure shooter with the RPG elements in outer space. The main character, he is a space traveler who is free to do whatever he wants. But to do this, he needs some resources to maintain and improve his spaceship. So you will have to gather all necessary things, do trade, space piracy and crafting. But your main goal is much more exciting. You need to build a new empire in the galaxy, and how you do that is up to you. The gameplay here can be divided into two parts: controlling your hero and piloting your interplanetary spaceship. Here in the game there are hundreds of variations of the appearance of your character and the design of your space transport. Also, you won't be alone here. You will have a faithful team that will help you in the battles, so you'd better take care of those guys too.
You might be the one taking me home.
Next up, we have the sequel to the popular space simulator Kerbal Space Program 2. The new game was completely redesigned to be even more in line with modern space. However, the basic concept of the game remained the same as it was before. You will need to create your own space program, build and launch space rockets, and perform all sorts of research and scientific tasks right in space. However, some changes have been made, and some of them are quite significant. Like, you can now build and manage colonies, but you'll need to mine resources to do so. Also, you can now go explore another star system and the planets in it. Isn't that cool? Oh, and one more thing. You can play this game with a friend, so your gaming experience will be even more satisfying. The next game is a strategy game called Galactic Civilizations III. Here you must also try on the rule of the ruler of the whole galaxy, subjugating all the star systems one by one. And of course, to do this you'll need a really huge fleet. To build ships, you need resources that you can mine on your own from the bowels of captured planets or buy from other civilizations. You may ask, how exactly I am gonna take over new planets? Well, you can do it in a number of ways, like you can size territories by force, or you can act through cultural domination, or technological superiority, or political alliances. All in all, this space sandbox is really detailed and just awesome. Speaking of sandbox games, I've got another one for you. It's an endless sandbox game called Astroneer. Events are set in an era of intergalactic discoveries in the 25th century, when humanity has already reached the boundaries of outer space. The gameplay here is like this: you can build, craft stuff, mine resources, change the surfaces of planets, and even travel to different planets without any restrictions. However, you will need to learn how to save the available resources, because mining them takes a lot of time. And one more thing, be sure to read the description of the planet carefully before you go there, like very carefully. Otherwise, you might suddenly get killed by some flower monster or something. What's more, you have to watch your oxygen and water indicators here. You can build a base and equip it with everything you need, but you can't go far without oxygen. Next up, we have Infinity BATTLESCAPE. This game is a multiplayer space simulator where you will have to fight against other players. The world is randomly generated and you can move around anywhere you want. There can be several hundreds of users on the map at a time. Sounds cool, right? Your main goal here is to destroy the enemy ships and bases. Besides, you can join teams, take part in mass wars, hunt for resources and explore the farthest corners of the universe. Basically, you have almost everything you would expect from an online simulator. The combat system here is insanely dynamic. There are explosions, lasers and flaming fragments that will constantly fly over you. Well, maybe the gameplay looks a little hard, but it's not. The controls here are easy enough, so you don't have to spend a lot of time learning. Next we have ENTROPIA Universe. This is a multiplayer action RPG simulation game about life in space. The game is set in an alternative future universe with 5 planets: Calypso, Rocktropia, Arcadia, Next Island and Cyrene, providing a huge space for spacewalks and space missions. However, what makes the game truly unique? It is economic system based on the circulation of real money. Yes, I mean real money. The game currency has a fixed exchange rate against the dollar, and players are free to deposit and withdraw money from the game at any time. Any in-game item here has a value expressed in real money. So if you conduct your financial affairs here correctly, you can really earn some money. But as they say, there is no such thing as a free lunch, so be careful. Otherwise, your wallet can be empty very quickly. Next we have, well, not specifically a game about space and taking over the universe, but it can be conventionally called one. Well, I'm talking about Spore. It's kind of a god simulator. Here you have to take your living species through a series of evolutionary stages from a single-celled microorganism to an actual interstellar civilization. First you choose a planet where your creatures will live, and then all the fun begins. There are 5 stages of development here in total, and each one has its own challenges, but there are cool stuff too, of course. Naturally, it's up to you how exactly will your character develop. Well, if it can be called so, and what success in his evolutionary plan it will be able to achieve. And besides the fact that the game allows you to create your own creatures, you can also use the workshop and load characters, equipment, buildings created by other players. Well, let's look at one more game, Endless Space 2. It is a turn-based strategy game. You will have to go to deep space, where you can have a real war with other races. The galaxy here is randomly generated. All stars, planets and galaxies here appear at random. At the beginning of the game, you have to choose one of the humanoid or non-humanoid races. Then you get one colonized star system and one inhabited planet. Now, this game is quite varied. Each race here has its own characteristics that affect the type of warfare, the development of science, population growth and other important things. But nevertheless, the goal here is the same: to conquer the galaxy. And as it was in one of the games at the beginning of the video today, you can do this in different ways: military, scientific, economic, diplomatic and so on. There are no limits in the record here. Sounds cool, right? In Stellaris, you become the kings of the galaxy from the beginning. More precisely, you become the head of the empire, but since sky's the limit, you need to expand your territories in the course of the game. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this game is a real-time strategy. Your goal here is to be the first in power, or like just wipe out all the other empires. At first you'll do a lot of space exploration and other stuff, but the longer you play, that more often you'll come face to face with other empires, and that's when you'll have to use all your diplomacy and government skills. And of course, you'll have to fight a lot, but the number of weapons that you will be able to use in the battles is really amazing, so be sure you will definitely enjoy it. Well, it's time to show you the last game for today. Imagine Earth is a real-time strategic planetary development simulation where you have to take over the universe using your economic knowledge. Your task as the manager of numerous colonies is to explore and populate distant worlds, develop your colonies, mine resources, produce goods and trade with many different space inhabitants. In general, all that space colonization stuff. The game's main feature is its realistic modelation of all kinds of cataclysms. For example, the forest can catch fire here, the glaciers can melt, the volcano can wake up and flood the area around with lava, and so on. So you have to develop the planet very carefully and stay out of trouble in the pursuit of economic dominance. And besides all these natural phenomena, you'll have to defend yourself from the space raiders. Well, there is a lot to do, and you'll definitely find something for you to deal with. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something interesting, and if so, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been DeniCh, see ya guys soon.